My favorite is the 19-year-old life coach.
Classic, MJ.
You're
Classic.
19 years old. How are you a life coach? You haven't endured any life.
Yeah.
You're having problems finding success because, not you, I'm just saying to the person out there that is struggling, because you're on an everlasting search for a shortcut that does not exist. If you just do the fucking work, you will succeed.
Most of what you've been told about making money is BS. Compound interest with index funds? Max out your 401k? Save 10% of what you earn. For me, this book put a lot of what I've already known into question, such as The Richest Man in Babylon, Unshakable by Tony Robbins, and even some aspects of Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Watch the rest of the video to find out how you can take the fast lane to wealth. And no, this is far from a get-rich-quick scheme. So there are 3 lanes: the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. The sidewalk. Sidewalkers pursue pleasures today at the expense of a more secure tomorrow. Sidewalkers are always one step away from broke. He never knows if he'll be able to pay the rent each month. Meanwhile, he chugs down a case of beer to temporarily suspend his life problems. He thinks time is abundant and he can spend money like there's no tomorrow. He graduated from school and justifies that that's all the education he needs to get by. He takes whatever job he can that pays the most. May as well live life whilst you can. You know you're a sidewalker if you change jobs frequently, haven't learned much since graduating from school, have poor credit, barely any savings, and put faith into politicians and government to fix the system. An estimated 60% of adults live their lives on the sidewalk. Righto, so the sidewalk doesn't sound so attractive. Why don't we move on to the slow lane? Slappy the slow laner sacrifices today in the hopes of a brighter and freer tomorrow. In MJ's own words, your glorious tomorrow might arrive when you're 73 years old and soaked in urine and strapped to a stinking bed because you've lost your mind to Alzheimer's. Slow laners also sacrifice their time for money. This is why the typical narrative of becoming a doctor, maxing out your 401k, and investing in mutual funds for 40 odd years puts you in the slow lane. You can get to wealth, but it's very slow and you don't have time, basically. Okay, so what on earth is the fast lane? Well, in MJ's own words, the fast lane is a business and lifestyle strategy characterized by controllable, unlimited leverage, hence creating an optimal environment for rapid wealth creation and extraordinary lifestyles. The following 4 elements further describe the fast lane. So first of all, let's clarify controllable, unlimited leverage. In the slow lane, there are uncontrollable variables. You have much less control over your time expenditure and income level, whereas the fast lane gives you maximum control and leverage over time, money, and other stuff. Like being able to work from anywhere in the world, for example. The second, business. Like a job is to the slow lane, self-employment and a business is to the fast lane. Then we've got lifestyle. The fast lane is a lifestyle choice. It is not succumbing to the typical narrative as a means to just get by in life. And number 4 is rapid wealth creation. The fast lane is about creating crap tons of wealth quickly and beyond the confines of the middle class. Now, I interviewed MJ DeMarco, the author of this book, and believe me, he doesn't mean to be bashing on the 9-to-5ers or anything of that nature. The fast lane is really built for the people who want to create massive wealth quickly and not just enjoy it when they're like 73 years old in retirement. This is about, building a big ass business, tanking it out for 5 years and then, selling it off for millions of dollars. So, yes, 9-to-5ers are important, but this fast lane, this is for the ones that want to really become rich, okay? So there is 5 commandments of building a fast lane business. These are perhaps some of the most important principles that I took away from the book. So the first is the commandment of need. This is the reason 95% of businesses fail within 5 years. MJ says, never start a business just to make money. Stop chasing money and start chasing needs. Stop thinking about your business in terms of your selfish desires, whether it's money, dreams, or the do what you love mentality. Instead, chase needs, problems, pain points, service deficiencies, and emotions. You know you're not satisfying the commandment of need if you're the guy that asks, how can I make passive income? Or, what's a good product to sell on eBay? MJ emphasizes that the masturbatory do what you love and the money will follow advice is BS. For do what you love to work, you need two things. Number one, your love must solve a need, and two, you must be exceptional at it. The second commandment, the commandment of entry. Higher entry barriers equate to stronger, more powerful roads with less competition and less need for being awesome. Let's take a helicopter tourist service for instance. It takes a fully qualified helicopter pilot, the money required to buy the helicopter, and a bunch of other boring paperwork to get this business up and running. But once it is, you're laughing. Compare that to the tens of thousands of newbies sitting on their couch at home who sign up to a $200 program that's offered to 10,000 other people who will end up fighting to sell the same crap. In MJ's own words, once again, the world is littered with so-called businesses that have no entry barriers, and that is why they suck, and the people who follow them aren't rich. Very blatant there, MJ, thank you. Commandment number 3, control. Drivers control everything in their business. Drivers sell stock, they don't buy it. Drivers accept rents and royalties, they don't pay rents and royalties. Drivers offer affiliate programs, they don't join them. And this one surprised me. Drivers offer dropshipping, they don't use dropshipping. If you don't know, dropshippers basically ship cheap stuff from China and sell to buyers in the US to make big juicy profits, and they do it from their laptops. Now, MJ isn't saying you can't make big money as a dropshipper, but you are what he calls a hitchhiker, because you are still giving up a large portion of control by relying on an array of other companies. Commandment 4, scale. The guy who runs a local restaurant isn't able to scale because his customers are confined to a single geographical location. A restaurant can also serve a limited amount of food and customers in one day, whereas an online business in which you sell information products gives you the ability to sell unlimited copies and at a massive scale. There's no shortage of customers because everyone is and can buy your stuff online, even while you sleep. The commandment of time. You must detach your business from your time. 1 hour online fitness coaching sessions is not detaching your business from your time, but creating a video course would be, because you can record it and once it's up forever. You can sell it over and over again without you having to be there. So these were my favorite ideas from the Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. If you made it this far, I'd like to thank you by sharing some snippets from my interview with MJ himself. Super valuable. Also drop a comment below to let me know what your biggest struggle is when it comes to reading. I'm really keen to hear and help you out. Cheers.
So why is it that you seem to be pretty much the only guy that I've found who's achieved massive success that, you're one of the very few people that puts real, raw, authentic advice on the table. And then we've got, all these other guys that are selling their, little courses that amount to nothing. Like, the type of people I mean who say, invest in this program, invest in this seminar, and you're going to get rich. Why is it that you've been the guy that's really took off in terms of giving raw, authentic advice? Why aren't, I'm just wondering why it's you.
Well, first of all, I think it's a racket out there. I actually don't like this industry because there's so many scammers. There's so many hucksters that are selling shit that don't work, or my favorite is the 19-year-old life coach.
Classic MJ. Classic.
You're 19 years old. How are you a life coach? You haven't endured any life.
Yeah.
So it's like the old envelope stuffing scam. Well, if you send me $1, I'll tell you how to get rich. And then you send the $1 and they say, tell other people to send you $1 and you can tell them how to get rich. It's like, here's a make money seminar. It's $1,000 seminar. Make money. I'll tell you how to make money. You get into the room. The guy says, well, have a seminar, charge $1,000. That's how you make money. Thank you for coming. So it's like this circle jerk, and it's it's kind of disheartening that in my eye, I'm trying to be authentic and telling people how it is, and it's brash. It's not very, it's more logical. It's not emotional. It's like hard truth. It's tough love. People don't want to hear it. But unfortunately, that kind of stuff also doesn't sell very well. So that's the kind of, position I'm in. Everyone's looking for the shortcut. Well, there is no fucking shortcut. You're having problems finding success because, not you, I'm just saying to the person out there that is struggling, because you're on an everlasting search for a shortcut that does not exist. If you just do the fucking work, you will succeed. Quit looking for the diet pills, quit looking for the girdles, quit looking for this. Do the fucking work. Go to the gym 4 or 5 times a day. Eat right. 20 out of 21 meals every week, or whatever, how many there are. If you do the necessary work, it's easy. The difficulty is that you're not finding the shortcut. So you keep looking, you keep trying, you do this, you do that, you do that. Stop with the fucking shortcuts and do the necessary work. Commit, be disciplined, and do it.
Sure thing. Okay. And so my question is, does reading books count as work?
I believe that it's definitely it's good to be reading books.
Okay.
But what happens is a lot of entrepreneurs are doing what I call action faking, entrepreneurial masturbation. They think they're doing work because they're reading books. And in the end, they're not doing nothing. They're not acting. Laying in your bed and reading a book, and if you strip it down, is not work. It's not taking action. I like to say, I'm always asked on podcasts, what's your, what book should entrepreneurs read?
Yeah.
And I say the best book an entrepreneur should read is the book that solves the problem that is sitting in front of them right now. So if you're starting a business and you're having problems creating a brand, well, you should read a damn branding book. If you're trying to grow your business and you're not sure how to hire and deal with employees, well, you should buy a book on employees and managing employees. If you need to develop a web app and you have this great idea and the tools are out there to learn how to program a web app, that's the book or the YouTube podcast you should be looking at. So there is never all the answers. When you want to start a business and you want to become an entrepreneur, if you're sitting around saying, well, I need all the answers first, you will never be an entrepreneur. You have to act, immediately act. And what happens is you're going to encounter problems along the way, every single day, every week. And that's when you have to search out these solutions. So you're basically becoming this huge, long time problem solver. So the books you want to be reading, or the podcasts you want to be listening to, or the YouTube videos you're watching, you want those to solve the problems that sit before you. I call this kinetic execution. It's in my next book, Unscripted. And that is starting before you're ready. That is acting and letting the problems fall before you and then solving each step of the way. So after you have solved, 60, 70 problems, you actually have a solution that you can sell to the world or a product or whatever it is. As opposed to sitting around and waiting for all the right answers. I have to read this book. I have to do this. I have to do this. And in effect, you never do anything because it is so overwhelming. If you look at all the things, if I had to look back at what I had to accomplish in order to get where I was, if I looked at all that in aggregate, looking at the mountaintop, I would have never have gotten started because it was so overwhelming. But I just took one step at a time. So that's how you want to do that. Kinetic execution is one step at a time, one problem at a time.